We back up in this
sir.
thing. You can't roll with us if your last name don't got no loyalty. Podcast party poppin', but you already knew. I've been rolling with these folks. This that Monday night crew. Millennials versus the world like. Millennials versus the world like you. Millennials versus the world like. Millennials versus the world like you. Millennials versus the world. Millennials versus the world like you. Millennials versus the world like. Millennials versus the world like you.
Yo, what's happening, man? Welcome to day 2 of pregame week. It's the Millennials vs. the World podcast, the only spot you get authenticity and entertainment at the same time. I got the family of the show, Prince Princess, DJ J Dub, and Louis B. What's happening?
What up? What's going on, bro?
We got a very special guest, Miss Ashley. What's happening? Hey, so nice to have you. So make sure y'all take a second. Oh yeah, for sure. Take a second, subscribe to the page. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you get all content dropping, whether it be Monday Night Crew, Last Name Loyalty, The Kickback by MVW, or Traffic Jam. Charlotte, you know we on the way. Next Saturday is going up. Enjoy y'all little holiday because y'all know we going up next weekend, man. Tickets are on Posh. Make sure you tap in. I'm going to throw it over to my bro Lewis and get the show started tonight, man.
All right, what's up, family? All right, we kicking things off. What's happening? So we kicking things off with a special guest, Miss Ashley Mozingo. She'll be a part of our panel for our show on July the 12th, Saturday. So what I'd like to do, Ashley, we'd like to know a little bit about our guests before we get started. So my first question to you today will be, what got you into content creation and what was the key decision or key factor in you deciding to be an influencer?
Oh, that is a fantastic question. Again, thank y'all for having me. I really love to see people just have a vision and have a goal and have an idea for something that they want to see in the world and they go for it, right? So I'm super happy to be here. Man, I think I would say that I started as a blogger. I have always been a writer. Early covering different like hip hop shows, covering different movies, like a culture critique type situation that was happening, that I had just converted to different visual formats, that has been able to gain attention from different publications. So I've been really honored to work with a lot of different people and artists and organizations. So it's something that kind of called me, and I have really enjoyed the spaces I've been able to be in and the opportunities I've been able to have and share with others. So that's what keeps me going now. I have I spoke with, goodness, like 2 recent grads last week that wanted to write for Nexus. So they were fresh out of college. Bowie, shout out to Bowie, Bowie, love y'all. And it was just really dope to see like the light up for like, this is a space that I wanted to be in, like, oh, this exists. So that keeps me going, being able to create different opportunities and share. So that's how I'm here.
Awesome. We love that. And you've been able to translate, that to a different medium, to a different platform. And it sounds like it's a passion of yours, which I enjoy. And you said it called you, right? You didn't call it. It kind of called you. So I think that's
I've been chilling. Like, I don't want to work for real. I don't. Amen. It, but it is more of a love. It is more of a passion. So that is what it has evolved to. But yeah.
That's awesome. You got dope content as well. My final question to you is what has been your most exciting moment, right? Whether it's an interview you wanted to have, or you talked about speaking to college students and empowering them. What has been your most exciting moment as a part of the journey, being an influencer and content creator?
Ooh, can I get 2?
Yeah, you got 2. Hey, okay. It's our show. We can do that.
Because one, I have to shout out Johnson C. Smith. I love the Golden Bulls. I graduated from Winston-Salem State University. So I am a Ram. And I just love it. Use like I got little Aggies in the family, you know.
Okay. You all right.
So it's such a love for the institutions that like raised us. So they have given me a couple of opportunities to come speak to these students about mental health and just operating as a youth in this kind of world that they have, right? And then the world that they'll get when they graduate. So any opportunity that they've given to have me come speak or just share, like, or provide or curate an open space for just talking and sharing. I was able to do a couple of sessions last year, and it was just such a great time. And then I got to cover a festival in I think we were in Raleigh, and I did not know that. So mind you, okay, whole festival day, I have operated this team of 9 shooters, and it just the phone people, everybody, like, I'm like, okay, you over here, you're getting this content here, 9-person team going. It's the end of the night. Tierra Whack is, getting off stage. I've made up in my mind that I'm not going to meet her, right? And I'm tired. So I'm sweating. I don't even really want to see nobody. Like, I don't even really want to do that. But they're like, no, you work so hard. Like, you should do this interview. And I'm like, y'all, I don't want to. Like, y'all got it. Like, y'all got the knees. My back hurt. But I did it, and I was so unprepared, and it translated, and she was so gracious and so nice, but it felt like a moment that, like, I was like, dang, I like had it and then I like didn't have it, but it was so cool that it happened, and I was just blessed for the opportunity still. And it just lets me know that I'm going in the right direction, and to stay ready. But it was just those have been like those like indicators, like, okay, I'm on the right track. Like, this feels good.
Awesome. Just confirmation, right? Even in those moments, just being in those spaces, getting that opportunity, just lets you know you're on the right path in your journey. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today. All right. We're about to get into some. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just saying it was dope. I wasn't saying nothing. Go ahead, brother. It's all you.
Super dope. All right. Well, we're about to get into some questions of the night, a part of our pregame week. The first question, all right, we're going to dive into relationships. So, are all relationships, you guys feel that all relationships are transactional? And if so, does this ruin the real connection? Does it ruin the sincerity within them? So again, the question is, do you feel all relationships are transactional? And if that is the case, do you feel like it ruins the sincerity within them? And I'm gonna direct that to my bro Jay was on fire last week. I'm gonna direct this one to him. What do you think, bro?
Let's go. Start it up, my boy. You muted. You muted, Jay.
Cricket, man. It's just...
My bad. I want to keep out the background noise, but I do believe all relationships are transactional, and I think that it takes away from a really genuine connection. And I also believe that that's the reason why people leave relationships. When that transaction leaves, they leave. So it's not really unconditional love, because if that was the case, when a person is not giving you what you want, desire, you find ways to work around that to stay. But because it's transactional, hey, when the transaction is up, I'm not receiving what I need, so I'm no longer giving you what you need.
Bro, do you feel like adults can have unconditional love, or that's only for your children?
I don't believe adults can have unconditional love.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I think to add to that point, I think we're conditioned not to. Right? I think we grow up in a time and in a society to where we're conditioned to think that way, in most cases. But that's a great question. Jay, you still got that momentum, bro. Great reply. Great response. All right, we're gonna kick it over to Princess. What's good, P?
Oh yeah. I won't get it started.
I do feel that all relationships are transactional. Does it ruin the real connection? I think it depends on the approach. Like, if treat it. Like, I think in the back of our minds, when we go into relationships, friendships, we can understand as adults that this is transactional in some form or fashion. But if we simply like treated that and put that in the forefront, then that's when I feel like it ruins the connection, because it seems like this is really what I'm in it for. And like, if like, it's just that and that's it. So I feel like lead with that, that's when I feel like it becomes more obvious and it ruins the connection. Versus as adults, I just feel like we should know that in the back of our minds.
I got you, P. I want to get your thoughts. How do you approach that situation? How would you approach? I'm not gonna get too personal. How would you suggest people approach that?
I think you gotta know what relationships to treat like that. Like, I personally feel like some relationships, it's okay to keep it transactional. Keep that in the forefront. Like, you know what's up, I know what's up. And like it is what it is. But so I just feel like you have to be mature enough to be able to, decide who you're gonna treat that way, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, whether it's platonic. Some people would say that, if you have like, a buddy, we'll put it, that's a transactional relationship.
Yeah. Fill in the blank here. Blank buddy. All right.
Buddy, yeah.
Blank
buddy is insane.
All right.
Buddy is insane.
I'm gonna kick it to our guest. Ashley, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the question?
This is a good question, because just from my experience, I don't feel like I enter things with the expectation of like, I think for me first with any relationship, I just feel like there has to be an establishment of getting to know. And for some people that can take a couple years. Some people, you can know everything about them in 2 weeks. Sometimes you might need like some time to learn even the person before we start melding relationship into the mix. To even know like what it is can you give me, or what it is that you need from me. Like, is that what this is going to be, and where does it start and stop? Like, is it like, I don't know, the shoulder to cry on? Like, because that's also sometimes an exchange for people,
Absolutely.
So yeah. I think there has to be a period of getting to know people, and then like deciding what type of relationship that person or spirit can offer you, and then I think the connection kind of just stays and develops from there.
I like that. I like it.
So my answer would be yeah. And I think it only ruins real connection, to Princess's point, if we're not acknowledging why the transaction is there. You know what I mean? I actually feel like that's the problem right now. I think people aren't acknowledging what the transaction. Now, when I say acknowledge, I don't mean you sitting down at the table saying like, hey, this is our transaction. But like on some grown millennials, like, bro, we can have the conversation of like, hey, I really enjoyed this with you, or like, I really hope we can do more of this, or like, when I'm doing this, I kind of expect this back, because, and I'm gonna take it out of, sexual intimacy real quick. Like, I think we jump to that so quick, but like, I think some people just I'm talking about dating relationships. I think some people offer their time. Some people offer their time and just want the time back. Some people offer their time and they may want whatever their love language back in exchange, which is nothing wrong with that. Anything in life has a transactional component to it. You know what I mean? I think when that thing get into play, that transaction become a little different, because I think, like I say this without,
I could have did without the singing, brother. You lost me.
But I think the double standard of what is value more in that sense makes that transaction sticky. I think once a woman allows you to connect with her in a certain way, it kind of puts whatever you're bringing in the transaction not in question, but you kind of got to make sure you're holding that standard because of the value there that society puts on certain things. Now, the last thing I'll say is I also believe transactions evolve. You know what I mean? Like the transaction we started with or what we were doing at the beginning may not be the transaction that I want now. And I think we always got to communicate that once we understand that that doesn't work for me anymore. I think we should do more acknowledgement of like pros and cons of being with somebody. Like, yes, I do get this from this. No, I don't get this from there, so I may need it elsewhere. I think that's what actually makes things go and grow.
That's that when you're doing that 80-20, or when they talking about that 80-20 rule, that's what you're looking at.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What does this person do for me? One thing Ashley said that I really admire is that you brought up a point about the initial evolution of a relationship, and that when you approach it, or your approach is more so interest in the other person, not so much, hey, I'm looking to get something out of you. I'm just looking to actually know you. And I think what's unique is sometimes you kind of find out what that transaction is organically. You're not really going in and asking what someone could do. You're just genuinely interested in knowing more about this person. And I would say for me personally, that really speaks to a relationship with my wife and I, because we didn't go into it with any expectation of one another. Right. And it all happened, organically, as well as that thing that Keenan was singing about. Anybody else have any
oh hell, you got to that transition, that transaction, then you my boy.
Hey, But any other comments or thoughts on that question before we move on? Smooth. Cool. All right. So this one's from my sisters, man. I think it's a great question. I really would like to hear from, we'll go from Ashley and go to Princess, and then we'll open it up to the guys. But do we feel that Black women are unfairly judged for behaviors that are accepted in other cultures? So I'll kick it to you first, Ashley. Would love to get your thoughts on this.
Baby. I feel particularly blessed to have this vessel. And I know that it does not come without its challenges. There are several filters of emotions that I have processed to only be labeled one.
Hold on. Say that again. Say that one more time. Please. No, that was good. Please say that again.
There's a lot of emotions, right, that I think everyone feels. But typically Black women are only labeled one. You hear it in workplaces, in friendships, in all types of things. Like we hear, am I frozen? Are y'all good? Am I good?
No, we hear you good.
We do got that storm rolling through here. So I was like, I'm trying to be like cautious.
No, you cooking.
But yeah, there's a lens that Black women are looked at through, whether it's how everything's either maximized or minimized, and the things that are minimized are things like I was having a conversation with a friend of mine that I feel like people like Bell Hooks and Alice Walker can be considered philosophers. I said, but often Black women, when we speak, it's poetry, right? So a lot of the like critical thinking work done by Black women is put in the lens of poetry instead of philosophy. So even in how our thinking is viewed, there's a judgment. But we have people that persist and continue to shake up narratives and streams of thought. And it's not a weight that's ignored. But I feel very blessed to walk it. I'm glad I come from a line of Black women, and I would not change a thing. And I'm proud to share like the love I have for my Blackness and my womanhood with my nieces and my nephews. So it's really generational when we get to think of the impact that we get to have as Black people, really.
Well said. Shout out for the Alice Walker reference. She wrote The Color Purple, right? And that was later translated into a movie. And if you want to understand the plight of a black woman, right, especially in a particular time, go check that out. And read the book. It's way more graphic than what the movie portrayed, by the way. But great reference. What's up, Pete? What are your thoughts?
I would say agreeing with Ashley, like first, just hands down, like there's nothing else that I would rather be, despite everything that we go through on a daily basis. Like I love everything about my blackness. I love everything about our culture, and I wouldn't want to be anything else. So I completely agree with you, Ashley. I think I talk about this kind of all the time on the pod. Black women are consistently unfairly judged for behaviors. It's almost exhausting to talk about. Like I honestly see questions like this and I get like,
yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's like I feel so strongly about it, and it's like, yeah, duh. Like that's how I feel when I see questions like this as a black woman, and it's like it almost makes you not want to expound on it, because it's like I walk it every day. Not only do I walk it as a black woman, but we also have to see it on social media. But to answer the question, yes, it's heavy, it's unfair, it makes you question yourself. When can I speak out? Is it appropriate if I speak out? Um, if I say this, will I see type of backlash? Will I be disciplined? Will I be reprimanded? You think about being a black woman in corporate America. Can I speak out on this versus my white counterpart? If they say the exact same thing, I'm portrayed as the angry black woman, but they're literally saying the exact same thing. So it's like you almost would rather them say it than you say it, because they're not really going to take the hit versus you would be labeled. It's just so many things. So I definitely feel that black women are unfairly judged every day, for not only behaviors, but just literally being.
For
Well
sure.
said. I'm gonna come around to you guys to cap this with one question. So Hope, I'm gonna just remind me, because I got one thing I'm gonna need from you two before we end in this topic. But Kenan, Jay, please, y'all, please.
Real quick, yeah, I got you, Jay. I'm gonna go to you next, Jay. I just want to tap in real quick, everybody. Amanda Williams said, "Hello, everyone. What's happening? How you doing? Appreciate you tapping in."
What's good?
Lucid Love Society said, "Peace panel. What's happening? Appreciate you tapping in tonight." Peace Chief said, "Woo, loaded question. It is
indeed.
It is heavy on the maximize and minimize." And I believe she was saying to what you were saying, Princess, about corporate America, to the bullet points of corporate America and being able to say the same thing if you will be accepted or not. So appreciate everybody tapping in. Just want to acknowledge your comments. Appreciate y'all. Jay, I can throw it to you, brother. I'll go after you, man. I just want to acknowledge their comments.
I think that black women are they don't feel protected in a lot of different ways. Feel that they're the only race to where if they're doing something like you said, with maximize, they're doing something, other people inside that race probably criticize them the most. And it's really crazy, because it's like, if you are black women are also like to a point to where if one person does something, like one group of females does something, they group everybody together. Like, so let's say girls on the boat, they twerking, doing everything. It's like, oh, they're this, they're that, they uneducated, they're ratchet. But then you have a group of black women who are very educated, very well spoken, articulate very well, that doesn't get seen, because it's like they always group all of the black women together. And I don't like that about our culture. I don't like that about society, because it's in other cultures, they do the same exact thing. And like you said, if a black woman put on something because she's very, curvy and nice shape and everything, it's like, oh, she doesn't have any respect about herself. Other cultures put the same exact outfit on. It's like, oh, she has so much style and taste. And it's like, what? I get a fair shot is what I'm trying to get. Very clear, very straight.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're about to say, and what I'm about to say is not being controversial. I hope y'all understand that it's coming from a genuine place, but I see this more now. You know, the only thing I hate, man, I do think black women are unfairly judged. I really do. The only thing that I hate now is that I see a lot of black women that are separating themselves from the stereotypes and from the narratives and have worked so hard to be out of that. And then I see another group that kind of keeps it going. And I think it's so hard and unfair to like try to set, like, you have where you want to give grace to all, you know what I mean? But then you have these instances where you have a large amount of, I'm speaking on millennial black women that I see the most, like really elevating, really doing their thing, really not doing the stereotypical things, not being what society said they should be. And then you have a group that kind of makes it harder for those women who are trying to elevate, because, you know, black women are caring. So they're not going to just throw you out. They're not going to just throw you out and be like, hey, no, we're not dealing with you. So they deal with the double narrative of like growing and trying to protect their sister because they feel like black women aren't protected. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
I understand.
And I think the thing for me that I really wish was something that we could do more as it's a hard conversation to approach for me, but I think it's just like supporting black women, because I feel like with what you all go through, it seems that it could make you be more defensive sometimes because you have to defend yourself so much. So like finding a way to support that in a positive way and be there and communicate through those times as a black guy, you know, that's a challenge for me being an ally to black women, like trying to learn how to support you all being judged unfairly. Or Princess, you may have that day where you in meetings and you got to hold it up all day and you got to let your hair down, and you know, you may not say it or do it, but like there's some type of support that comes that's needed from that. You do it day in, day out, and having to do that. So I do think they're unfairly judged. You know what I mean? I do hope that the women that are elevating, that's doing it the right way, get seen more, get publicized more. I think a lot of times those women kind of don't, you know what I mean, to keep the narrative going. So I hope they shed more light on the women that's actually not painting these narratives that society is trying to do. I do think that they're unfairly judged for things that are accepted. And I'll go like this. Even I think Jay said it about clothing, but I'm gonna say it about hair. Like when you see a hairstyle in a whole nother culture, excuse me, it's that, but then like it always was rooted in something that we did. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Keenan, because I'm just trying to understand. I'm not being funny.
I got you.
What was the
say something crazy?
What was your point with the, like, there's a subset of black women who are elevating and then they're like separating themselves? Could you make that clearer for me?
Because I think it is very hard to change the narrative without separation, is what I'm saying. I do believe black women are unfairly judged holistically, right? But I think the way we change things is elevating and shining a light on a certain on what's happening that we see with black millennial women for the majority. You understand what I mean? But to Jay's point, when like everything gets grouped, I hate to say it, but like we have to spend more time shining light to debunk the stereotypes that keeps the judgment there. And I think sometimes when those groups are separate, when those groups aren't separated, that's how black women keep getting thrown in the same pot. That's not always the case for everyone. Does that make sense what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, but I just feel like realistically in the world that we live in, that's never going to happen.
That's fair.
And I feel like, me personally, I would think that I'm probably a part of the group that you're talking about, like with the separating. But as a black woman, I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, but like it really bothers me. Do you get what I'm saying?
Say it again.
It really doesn't bother me. Like, I know the things that I do in my personal life, but I also understand some things that others are just going to do. And as a black woman, I don't really foresee myself, like, I will say there's certain types of people that I don't have in my circle. But as far as like separating myself, I feel like there's also a part of Black women, even though there's this, oh, I'm elevating, we still are the very same Black women who are protecting the Black women on the other side because nobody else is doing it for us.
Mm-hmm. But
So
I think, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Still have to go back and reach back because nobody else in the world is giving that to us.
So I think the separation that you spoke of is the same separation that I'm speaking of. Like you just alluded to your circle, which will be a representation of you, right? So I'm saying when you are represented in the world or people see you, I'm not talking about reaching back and making sure you support. That's not what I'm speaking on. But like if you were to have someone that wasn't a proper representation of you, and I'm not shunning anybody. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if you didn't have somebody that was a proper representation of you, it will be easier for people to try to keep a narrative about Princess that may not be true because of the perception of what's around you. That's all I'm saying. So when you were speaking on like that person may not be close in your circle or those things may be happening and it doesn't bother you and you do reach back, I do not disagree with that. But when it comes to the representation of who you are, in order to protect that, you have to make that separation that you just spoke about, because that's the way I think that gets publicized more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I'm not saying let them go and just let them be.
Oh yeah. No, but I still feel in general as a whole, because of the world that we live in and social media, it does not matter how much good that we do, as take Black women out of it, right? Black people as a whole, America. It does not matter how much good we do in this world. That is never going to be what's going to be at the forefront and what's going to be displayed.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like if it's not
I can't argue that.
the forefront and writing that narrative and talk about the shade room and all like the stuff that's pushed there, like if it's not us pushing it as a whole, what people push about us is not what we are doing that's good in this world.
110%.
Let me add something there real quick, not to cut you off, Louis. I understand it's a group of women, like you said, are making that separation. But if we want to be real right now, it's also that when you make criticizing them as well. For example, you have those women that are making that transition, changing the narrative, not only getting educated, but like I said, articulating well. They're doing good things for themselves, and they may look at relationships differently, right? But the women in the Black view, oh, they're a pick-me. Oh, they're just saying things to try to fit in and do these things. It's a lot of criticism between Black women, if we want to be real. So yeah, the separation, but just the back there, all the other like the ratchet stuff.
Jay, it sounds like you're making great points, brother, but you breaking up.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Boy.
What part did y'all miss? My bad. I'm sorry.
No,
about 65% of it.
Yeah, hey, look, right after you said Black women critique each other a lot, if you want me to be real, then you wipe it out.
Really?
Mic check.
Yeah.
Yeah, hear me.
Yeah.
Pick your phone up, Jay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get another stand. So all I was saying was this: when you have that group of women that's elevated.
Well, you was going in too, but I was trying to pick it up.
Yeah, my bad, Louis. When you had
did y'all hear Jay say I'm gonna get another stick?
Yeah, that was aggressive. That was, you know
I bypassed that.
I knew you did, Louis, because I saw your face and you was like, you know what, I'm gonna let that one slide. You know.
Yeah, you know, we having a real conversation.
Right, but real quick, I'll sum it up.
I'm gonna get your ass when we get off this call, boy. Best believe that.
I know.
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Hey, real quick, I'll sum it up real quick. You have those two groups of women elevating, but whenever the other group is elevating up to the top, they're looked at as like pick-me's. Like if they're looking at relationships differently, it's like, oh, well, they're just trying to be a pick-me. So a lot of, like I said, criticism is being done amongst the Black women because the two groups are going against each other. They're looking at the group that's over here twerking, doing all this stuff like, oh yeah, I'm not trying to be a part of that. And the other group is looking like, oh, they're just trying to be different and pick-me's. So I don't think that it'll ever change because y'all keep saying separate, but we're already separated within as a people. In my opinion.
I got you. Well said, Jay. One thing, I'm circling back to my ask from the two ladies. So we talked about, reaching back, pulling back, to get our sisters or our community and moving them forward. I want to give you guys an opportunity, if you guys will entertain this and really speak to how we can empower, the people that maybe don't see themselves as the beautiful queens that they are. What would be maybe a statement of advice you would give to someone struggling to see their beauty and greatness as a Black woman? So this is for Ashley and Princess. If you guys could just give a statement, if we're trying to empower, our young sisters, what would you say?
Where you gonna go first?
Because I gotta say something. Because y'all know educated and elevated women is shaking ass too, right?
Yeah, I know that.
Is that separate?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's not the separation I'm talking about.
I'm trying to figure out, like,
that ain't the separation I'm talking about.
How do you know off of face value? You go on the yacht week and you say everybody on yacht week gotta, like, that's just like, come on.
So let's.
I don't know if we can cast that net like that.
It's not so much what we do to. It's not so much the behaviors and the fun sense. It's more so the decisions and choices that people are making.
Yeah, I'm not talking about shaking. Ain't nothing wrong with shaking.
Yeah.
I think it's so much stuff in backyards that we forget to, like, look inward sometimes, and it's just like there's not even. And I'll roll this right into, because I really enjoy talking to young people. I really enjoy talking to other women and going outside of my culture group and just being a human first, right? And that is what I lead with in my interactions with young people, because they have an exposure to so many different things. And they are learning at a very rapid rate, not only information, but like they're learning a lot of new energies. Like, it's a lot of new energies happening. So wisdom is a defense. I think education is definitely a liberation tool. And if we use that as like, I'm always giving a book recommendation, right? If I'm like, someone brings up a topic, I'm like, here, that act is the reach back, the sharing, I'm asking friends like, oh, what podcast are you listening to right now? That's pouring back into me, and that gives me like, I know, I've never heard of that podcast. And now if somebody asks me, let me share this podcast with you, and it keeps going, right? So I think how we address any type of gaps in resources and gaps in elevation, we do it through education and just providing that game and wisdom back to the people that we want to help.
So may I ask you a question, Ashley? I want to be very intentional about the question. When I was speaking on the separation, do you think I was dumbing it down to those actions?
No.
Oh, I'm about to say.
I'm always just interested in the blanket statements. I'm like,
okay.
When do we
that's
allow
fair.
Individualism to come into play? So,
I think that's
fair.
No,
I got y'all.
So your advice to them is to give them something tangible to help empower them, whether it's a book, whether it's a podcast. Do you have any recommendation? Do you have a recommendation on the top of mind right now?
I do. It is right beside me. I'm actually almost done. What It Takes to Heal. Okay. I have been, and it actually talks a lot about power and how we understand power as a more brute force tool, but it can be used in you know, realms of healing and things like that, and how we do that in community, right? And I left this book out for a friend of mine who I knew was going through a challenging time. And I'm like, sometimes, you know, you can't be forceful sometimes, right? So
Yep.
I just left the book out because I knew they were staying over. And they was just like, I picked that book up and read a couple pages. And I was like, oh, did you? What?
There you go.
Yeah.
I love it.
Just any way that comes up, right? Even if it can be down to like somebody complaining man, I can't get this little ash out the middle of my knuckle. Like, what's going on? Like, oh shoot, you know, I've been using like a little bit of coconut oil, you know, and that's ancestral knowledge. Now you passing that down. So it's just about teaching what life is teaching you.
Love it. All right, people. What advice would you have, or what statement would you have?
I have a couple of things to say because I want to piggyback on what Ashley said. Honestly, I was thinking the same thing when the twerking comment was made.
Who made it, Princess?
I did.
And this is not like, but no, I think that this moment right here shows like where our mind goes naturally, right?
Yep.
Not
this is not even any shade. This is just we're seeing this in real time. And when the comment was made, I thought it because I'm like, I just came off a trip shaking ass, and I'm educated doing video. And all of my friends who were with me, same thing. You get what I'm saying? And so, but in my mind, I was like, you know, I'm not gonna say anything. So I appreciate you speaking out because as a Black woman in that moment, I was just like, I'm gonna let it go. Even though in my head, I was like, huh? You know, but I appreciate that because, and this is tying into like my advice, because when you look at other cultures, no matter the level, they do, you know what I mean? They are themselves. And I'm saying from a standpoint of like in the rooms that I'm in, going back to corporate, right? They get down. Hear me when I say.
Oh, at the parties?
Yes.
Yes.
It's no, I'm talking about from the top. Okay. To the point, like, are you sure you want to be doing all this? You know what I'm saying? And so I hate that in our culture, it's like for us, it's a downgrade. But they are allowed.
It's a stigma for us. It's a stigma.
Others are allowed to just simply be themselves. So my advice would be to be yourself, operate in your Blackness, embrace it, embrace the culture. Know that you are beautiful. Know that Black excellence does not mean that you have to be uptight. And that would be my main advice.
Beautiful. Here at the Millennials versus the World podcast, we do support twerking and shaking ass. So we do not look down on
just
anyone doing that.
We don't, not at all. We encourage it. But so what the only thing I'll say, Princess, you are right in the statement. I'm not challenging what you said. And Jay, I'm not being funny when I say what I'm about to say next. I also don't think we all were equating that stigma, that specific thing, to the separation. Because I feel like Jay said it, and then I came with the separation conversation right after it. So that seemed like that was the separation that I was talking about, and it wasn't. You get what I'm saying? Because after that, you went into what your circle looks like and what other people may go through that you may not have close in your circle. So I do think it's a bad thing, but I think that's very minimum on the list of stereotypes that really truly affect the overall view of Black women. Not downplaying it, but I'm saying the things I was talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll speak up and say I wasn't downplaying anything. I was when I was referring to that, it was referring to not only the twerking, but based off what goes with that. Everybody twerks, whether you and whatever, like nobody cares about that. I was referring to you have a group of women.
Either, bro.
No, I'm talking about the women. You have a group of women down there, right? And I'm talking about the ones that are doing all the extra stuff. Like, I don't need no man. I don't need this. I was creating a separation of another group of women communicating, saying, hey, this is what I would like in a relationship. This is, I think I want a man. I want this. So that's why I said the comment of the communication is different, but those women are considered pick-me's. So I think the focus was focused on like twerking versus the actual message. But
we got you, bro. We got you. Hey, what I really like about what we just did, we just had a conversation, the open dialogue where thought was challenged, so to speak, and clarity was provided. So, you know, I think this is great. And this is a great display. We're going to go into one more question, and then we're going to sneak into fair or foul. So maybe a quick hit on the response here, y'all, for me. All right. What do you all feel is the most common relationship issue? What do you guys feel like is the most common relationship issue? So I'm going to kick this one off with Princess. What do you think is the most common relationship issue?
This can't be quick right here, boy.
Lord, not if you answering the question.
Yeah, right. I got something to say.
Hey, boy, the Keenan show all over again. Go ahead, Princess.
Off the Keenan.
Uh-oh.
I honestly don't have my answer right now, so you can kick it off to Keenan or somebody.
No, we ain't gonna do that. Jay.
Yeah. For me, uncommunicated expectations.
Ooh, say it louder.
Uncommunicated expectations.
Can you elaborate on what that is, my brother? Can you just give a quick example of what that, that look like?
That boy been on fire these past 7 days.
When your partner wants to twerk and you want to sit, I'm just look. I'll just going into a relationship, and let's say your partner's doing something that you don't like or you no longer want to accept in that relationship because you're elevating, not communicating the expectation, but growing a grudge or resentment towards them for it. And I think that ruins a lot of relationships.
Well said, bro. I couldn't agree more. Ashley, what are your thoughts?
I was going to say something along the lines of communication as well. And I would say that when, you know how people always say, oh, how do you, make the marriage last, right? And they say, oh, communication, but they never say anything past that. So I'm going to say about how you feel. So you should be in constant communication about how you feel about things from food to how you are disciplined or, rewarding children, to how you interact with, how you feel about how they interact with their mother, parent, like how you feel should be what you're communicating often. And I might just add a piece and also say, still honoring people's individualism, I think is a pitfall of a lot of relationships. Like you have to spend time away from that person. Like it's okay. Like y'all are gonna be good. So still having like my wife and I still have separate trips. Like we go on separate trips. Like she'll go on a friend group trip, I'll go on a friend group trip, or she'll go on a weekend getaway, I'll go on a weekend getaway. You still have to honor that you-ness, because you was you before you was with that person 24/7.
Identity. You still gotta have your own identity.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was good.
I love that. All right, begrudgingly, Keenan, what do you think?
I don't even want to go no more. Next, man. I don't even want to go, bro.
Go, P. Let's go, P.
All right, ready now.
So
I do got something to say after her, though.
I feel like mine isn't really talked about a lot, but doing what you did at the start of the relationship to get
Princess. Go ahead and talk that noise, girl.
I feel like that is something that I see all the time in relationships nowadays, where people were hot and spicy and did this and that in the beginning, and now y'all have been together all these years and y'all are boring and like each other.
That's good.
Well, I feel like that is a common issue in relationships that's not talked about, but people are just settling or just bored.
Yeah. You know what a lady told me one time? I was really young in my marriage, and I was asking her the question I think Ashley alluded to, like, what did they say? And she said, never stop dating your wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not know what that meant, right? But now I understand. I'm still courting this woman, right? I'm still courting this woman. So, like, I still have to keep it interesting. Those are the things that drew her to me, along with other things as well. But those are the things that drew her to me. So I got to make sure I'm still doing those things. So I'm very intentional. 13 years of marriage, I'm very intentional about making time for my wife to see me as that man that she saw, 14, 15 years ago. So well said, Princess. All right, Keenan, what's good, bro?
I hate to stay in the same realm, but I'm going to be. It's the same realm. Like I think transparency and honesty, and I think with transparency, I think a lot of people don't. This is where it gets confused. This is where it gets misaligned to me. I think transparent is sharing the things that your partner wouldn't be able to tell, but it needs to be shared in order to move things forward. Okay. You know what I mean? Like honesty is like, and when you're being transparent, tell the truth. You know what I mean? Don't withhold information that actually it can get uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? It can go different ways, but I feel like a lot of people may be feeling something that they don't feel like the action has provoked that response yet. Does that make sense? Like I may be feeling this thing, but I haven't felt like I need the moment in order for me to let it out. And that's where passive aggressiveness seeps in, disconnect and things like that. When in reality, like you're human. If you feel a way about something, you have that right. Now, your approach got to be correct. How you come in and how you say it and when you say it, all those things matter. But like, I just think people need to spend more time being transparent. And I'll say that to say to Jay's point earlier, even when you start dating, bro, say what you trying to do for real. Like this person don't know. Be real about what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? And then if things escalate or de-escalate from there, live with it. But I just think transparency, bro, and be honest when you being transparent. That's what I would say.
Hey, can I piggyback off one thing Princess and Lewis said real quick? I'll make it quick. So, Princess, you're right. The dating, at the beginning, like you said, do what you're supposed to do, right? I think people have to also understand that people evolve. So that doesn't look the same because I think that could be looked at as being born too. What worked for you at 25 may not work for you at 32. So I think you have to do the research to evolve in your relationship and understand what your partner needs at that moment.
But Jay, that goes back to your point. You got to communicate that.
Well, yeah, you do. Yeah. You do.
That goes to you proving the point. You literally have to communicate that, right? Yeah, so that's the responsibility in both. Man, we've been doing a lot of relationship questions. I'm about to throw Lewis wrench in here.
Okay.
All right. And we're gonna end on what I would say is a funny topic. All right. So this is more in the vein of social etiquette. All right, social etiquette. Fair or foul? This is our fair or foul question.
Oh, okay. Could have a fair or foul. All right, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm throwing a wrench in.
Hold on, Lewis. Hold on, Lewis. All right, bro, go get to it, bro.
Sorry, brother. That's my jam. All right, so let's say you out, with somebody and you see someone that has for our women, someone that has a very nice purse. Our guy, somebody that has a very nice watch or chain or something like that. Is it fair or foul to just straight up ask them, hey, how much you pay for that? Oh, no. Is it fair or foul?
I'm gonna speak on that right now because I hate when people do this to me.
It's foul?
It's foul. It is so rude, in my opinion, personally, to ask somebody how much they paid for something. Now, if it's like your sister or something like that, but just like a random to ask someone how much they paid for something, to me, I feel like it's so rude. And I ask me how much I paid for something, and I think in their mind are expecting for the number to be different. And then when I tell them the number, it's like a judgment. What bitch you at? You get.
Look, I got to give you a context of Princess. For those of our audience who don't know, she likes nice things. Okay, yeah. You ain't gonna catch her. You ain't gonna catch her with no, inexpensive bag or sunglasses. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna have some high quality items. You know what I'm saying? Just give y'all some context.
What you say, Princess?
She don't shop at H&M.
I do. I shop at Shein all day long, and that's.
Hey, Princess, what did you say?
But she ain't gonna have no cheap knockoff purse though.
She not. She is the princess of Millennials versus the world.
The princess. Get it right.
Big P.
Nothing wrong. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. What are your thoughts, Ashley? Is it socially acceptable? Is it fair or foul for someone to ask that question?
Don't be rolling up on nobody asking them what they paid for stuff. Don't do that.
Yeah, nah.
Don't do that. Yeah, that's a X next tomato.
Yeah.
That ever happened to you?
You know, I actually get asked a lot where I get things, like even my glasses. So, but I always just tell people, there are some things that, okay, even like, for example, right? Let's say you get like a gift, like from your grandma or something. Like you don't know how much that costs.
Yeah,
like it's a Dior pullover. I don't know how much you paid for this. Grandma was lit. Like
y'all hear sneak that in there? It's the Dior.
Yeah, but I'm wearing it. Like so.
Dior.
Got it from belts from a steal. So I don't know.
She said
but I say don't do that though.
Don't do that. Hey,
I will say it is a different question asking where you got something from versus asking how much is it if they don't know what it is.
Absolutely.
I think that's a very, very different question because people be nah.
What is it? Fair or foul, bro? What is it?
Oh, that's foul, bro. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, not to, that happens to my wife more. I don't think I invest in things that will require that type of response for myself. For her, yeah. I think the thing I learned that I think is I've seen, this is gonna sound crazy. However, I've seen women celebrate each other more looking nice, where it may be a little more acceptable in the entry, but that question would turn that whole situation left. You know what I mean? Like I've seen my wife or another woman walking around like, okay, big each other. Okay, girl, I love it. Da, 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 da. I don't think a guy doing that, but the second it turned there is just kind of like awkward because I asked my wife, like, do you feel obligated to even respond when somebody say that? And she's like, no, not really, because it's like, I don't even understand why you would ask that.
You mean like ask her how much it costs?
Like if they ask something, like when that has happened, she's giving them a certain look and kept going like, what? But I'm saying like, do you feel obligated to, some people feel like obligated to give a response, because they were asked. So I mean, like, do you all feel obligated to give a response because they asked?
No.
Yeah.
I do. The sit your broke it. No, I'm just playing. No,
he not. No, he not. No, he not. No, he is not.
Playing. Yes, I am.
No, he is not. No, he is not. No, he is not. No,
he's not. But I also kind of have the same sentiments because I feel like don't ask the question. I'm gonna have to give y'all some examples offline. But like,
see, I'm about to get y'all though. Now I ain't gonna do it. I'm waiting because Lou's gonna get is an hour.
I got a comment for this. I'm gonna probably take a different approach.
Same thing with the twerking. You just grouped every broke person together because they asked you.
No, I'm gonna expound on that when I answer. But I'm gonna throw it to you.
I said it, Princess. What's up, man? What's happening?
I think it's
Go ahead.
I think it's foul because I feel like people just pocket watching. I do think it's okay to ask somebody maybe where they got something from. I think that's acceptable. Hey, where'd you grab that from? But asking somebody how much they paid, no.
That's crazy, man.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think it is more generically foul, but I think it can be fair.
Explain how.
Because I'm gonna say it. If I'm asking you, I could probably get it. So when I'm asking you, I'm genuinely want to know. It ain't even about you. It's really about me, right?
You ask a random person that though?
Not a random person.
We've had that exchange about stuff like
that. Yeah, not a random person. But you know what? It depends. If I've made conversation with someone, I may genuinely want to. I may be comfortable enough to ask. And I think socially, like in certain circles that I'm in, like I've seen that ask without offense taken, right? I think in certain environments where they're like-minded people and there's no ego because we all know we in this place and in this space, that those exchanges could be a little bit more normal, as opposed to maybe someone in a different social setting, or it's not accustomed, or it's not a variety of people wearing the same thing, right? Who understands the value of certain brands and things of that nature, where that could be kind of a conflict. So I think it is fair in certain instances.
And I'm really not speaking on anyone here that I know personally. I'm being honest. I think my only problem with that, Lewis, is I don't think the item could make somebody know if they have money or not. Because we see a lot of like people having stuff on and they ain't really anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So it just can't be the reference point is all I'm saying. You get what I'm saying? Like
It can't be the reference point for how wealthy they are. I don't think it's that, but I think but again, to what I was saying, I think in the social setting, in the environment that you're in, those conversations are more acceptable than most people think. And I'm that person. I'm asking, right? Princess and I have plenty of conversations about things, you know what I mean? Like about my wife and things, about fine goods. Like he is my go-to, one of my go-tos. So
I'd be like, don't ask me nothing like that again.
but Lewis, I'm gonna give you a different example, right? Like, okay, we use an example we're using, right? But if I take my camera bag with me and I start flying off, if somebody asks me like, damn, how much was this camera or how much is this equipment, no funny, but like that's a different I guess what I'm saying is it really does depend what you invest in too, is the only point I'm making.
Right. Like, but let's say, but to your point, if you were other if it's someone interested in podcasting, that question is different.
Right.
That's true. I agree with you.
That's the point I'm making. So like me, if I'm thinking about asking somebody that question, I'm in the setting or the environment where that question is valid because I'm amongst like-minded people.
Versus like, or just like maybe somebody in your family be like, yeah, how much that camera costs? And you be like,
there you go.
2,000. It's like, dang, he got 2,000 to spend on a camera. That's what they thinking, but they ain't gonna say it.
Right.
Hey, Princess, are you triggered at this moment?
No, how stuff really goes down.
No, it happens though. It happens because I've realized more about. I think I invest in things like that. I know what my wife likes, and I think that is more of a thing for me than myself. You get what I'm saying? Yep. What I invest in just is probably not visible to somebody who I walk across the street on. You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna. Me and Lewis, we'll talk about all that. But I remember when I had bought something and Lewis asked me the same question. But I also think socially, it's to the point he made. Like I don't think that. How can I say this without sounding bad? This is gonna be bad, man. I also think how the person looks and approaches you, who's asking, matters. It does. It absolutely does. And I'm just gonna leave that there.
For sure. All right. Well, I appreciate y'all. Come check us out Saturday, July 12th at Explicit Lounge. Oh, twerking is allowed. Twerking is allowed.
It is. Hey, that is getting clipped tonight.
Just so we're clear.
Twerking is allowed, and she will be Mazingo will be joining us in her Dior pullover. Let's go.
Yes.
All right, Katie, back to you, bro.
Yeah. Hey, look, I don't have to say nothing else. I'm clipping that tonight. Ashley, thank you so much for tapping in with us, man. We're super excited about next weekend, vibing with you, being in the Queen City, man. Thank you, everybody that's tapped in tonight. Hey, man, we here. Y'all know, man. See y'all next week.
You are now tuned in to the realest podcast.